Hello guys and welcome to this amazing exciting video. My name is Peter Collins and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a login form. Yes, this is something so many of us have seen using the internet. A login page looks like this with a login form where you can put your email or username as the case may be and your password. So we are going to be finding out today how much programming goes into creating an experience like this. And for this example, our login form has some form validation. So for those of us who are new to programming and the whole concept of web development, form validation is a means whereby data collected is being processed in real time to ensure that the correct information is entered into the form fields. So for example, my email field, when I begin to type my email, let's say Peter Collins, it shows some error messages that help me enter the right information before before I submit. So you see, it helps me enter the right information, and it also helps the owners of the website or the web application to always have correct data in their database. So someone cannot submit this form unless they put in the right information there. Okay, so for this purpose, we are going to be looking at how to design these forms, and I'm going to break it down in three videos. So the first one, we'll be looking at how to do the markup and design the interface. And then in the next two videos, we are going to explain the JavaScript and the programming aspect of this. So come with me. The first tool you will need is Visual Studio Code or a text editor. Yeah, a code editor, not a text editor now. A code editor. And I use Visual Studio Code and I will recommend that you use it too. It's simple to get. Just go to Google and type Visual Studio Code download, and right there you just go straight to code.visualstudio.com. They have different distributions for different operating systems. I'm using the Windows operating system. So you just go head over to their site and download the one that's suitable for your operating system. And when you're done with that, then you can create a folder where you would save all your code. So right now I'm creating a folder and I'll call it login form. Okay, good. We have our folder now. If you have installed Visual Studio Code, when you right click on your folder, you'll see this option, open with code. This is what we want to do. So we open it right there, and yes. So like I said, Visual Studio Code is a code editor. You can write HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any other programming language in your Visual Studio Code. You may need to install some extensions to help you format your code and present it in a way that is very clean. We'll talk about that later in the group. And if you have any question, comments, just feel free to drop your comment in the group. So we proceed. Now I clicked on open with code. The next thing I'll do is to open my folder. As you can see, it's empty. We are starting from scratch. And I create a new document in my folder. I'll go through Visual Studio Code to do this. Just click here to create a new file, and I'll call it index.html. So in my index.html, this is where I'll write all the form, all the markup for our login form. It should look exactly like this, and it should work exactly like this. Email and password have validators. So there are some rules which I'll be telling us about later. The rules for the form validation, of course. So I'll just close this and then we start. There's a live server I love to use. It's an extension for Visual Studio Code. So if you download Visual Studio Code, you can get your live server, and it helps you serve your folder. So it opens a window on your browser and just serves the content of your folder, so that when you begin to work, it just refreshes automatically. You don't need to always come here to click refresh to see updates in your work. Okay, so diving in, we start by typing the doc type. This is HTML5. So this is the doc type directive. HTML, then HTML tag, HTML automatically closes it for us. The head tag and the body tag. These are the basic building blocks for our HTML document. So we also want to add an external style sheet. So we'll write our CSS, our cascading styles, separate from this HTML document to keep it clean and organized. So I'll create a new file, index.css, sorry, I'll rename that index.css. Here we'll write all our styles. So proceed. We link index.html with our style sheet. Do it like this. Style sheet. There you go. And done. Next, we want to create a title for our page, right? We want to give it a title, so we just put the title tag there. Login from example. And voila, let's check. Right there, we have our title up there, and our page has no content yet. So we want to put some content in the body. We'll start by creating a section there. We'll call it container, because this is what is going to contain all our markup. Everything we write is going to be done in this section. So next up, we put in our header. And we want our logo to be in the header, like the image we saw. So we do this. This is the image tag, and right now we don't have the image yet. So I'll be showing us a few examples of how to link images to your pages, and how to import images, how to create a fav icon so you can have the icon up there up here on your page, just like these other pages here. You can see the icons are up there. So ours doesn't have an icon yet, but we are going to that. So just create the image tag, put an alt description. We'll say this is our logo. Okay. And what else? What else do we do here? We close the image tag and we are good to go. Move to the next, which is our title. We create a title here. Want it to look exactly like the image we saw back there. So I think I'll just open up that one again so that we can compare and contrast. So you can always look there to compare our progress. So I'm opening up the already completed one again so we can look at it. Yes. So by the time we are done with this, which is the one we are working on right now, it's going to look exactly like this. So let's continue. I have a div. Inside it, we have a paragraph called title. Title is login. Next, we want to create our form. So our form is the main subject matter of this tutorial, so pay very close attention. HTML has a form element, and this form element we have field sets. So field sets are like sections of our form, and because this form has form validation, we want to separate one section from another. So the email section is different from the password section, and in the email section we have this. So this is the main input element that will accept all our text input in the email section. So we proceed, we give it an ID. Let's call it email input. Say type, it's going to accept text. Right? So give it that. And we want it to have a maximum length of 30 characters. So let's go over the rules now. For form validation, there are rules that the programmers and the owners of the website or the web application set so that people can enter correct information. So for the email section, we want the emails they enter to be 30 characters max. If your email has more than 30 characters, you need a new email. All right. We don't want uppercase letters in the email section. We also don't want special characters like ampersand, hashtag, dollar sign, percentage. We don't want that in the email section, right? People don't use those characters in their emails. So if you enter something, any of those special characters, of course, then your email is invalid. The only characters we accept, the only special characters we would accept are the ampersand, underscore, hyphen, and of course, full stop. The email must follow the format email@domain.com. So it must look like this. Your email must follow that format email like this, email at domain. which could be Google, it could be, so you have it here. It must follow this format, right? Your email at your domain.com. And finally, your email must not contain spaces. So with that said, we proceed with the rules. One of the rules is going to be entered here in the HTML, which is the max length. So the max length defines how many characters we can enter in this input element, the maximum number of characters allowed, and we say 30. So anything beyond 30 will give an invalid response. So we proceed. Placeholder. Placeholder is text that helps the user know what to enter in that input element. So like we have here, this is the email placeholder. So let's see how far we have gone. Our page. This is what we have. This is the email input element, and this is the placeholder here. This is the login, which we have here, right here. This is it. All right. And the title image, the logo image is going to go here when we link it. So let's proceed. In this div, we also want to have an icon that shows the user that they should enter their email here. So if we look at this, we have this email icon here, and we want the users to be able to know that this is where you enter your email. We have this password icon here also, and we have the show password and hide password icon, like you can see here. So these are two icons used interchangeably, and so for this reason we put another element that will contain our icon. So we have a div element. We are going to use a div element to wrap the image element that will contain our icons. So we haven't got the icons yet. We just put an empty src. Src means source, and that's where we will link the images that we want to use as icons. Okay, that's where we're going to link them. You can see we are starting from scratch, so we are going to build it progressively. This alternate input is for people who are accessing the site using screen readers. So if, for example, somebody is visually impaired and they need to access our website, and because they can't see, they mouse around your website to get a an audio feedback of what they are mousing over. So we want it in such a way that when they mouse over this image, then it will read out a text to them. Since they probably cannot see, then they should be able to get a description of what the image is. So we call this image email icon. So if you use a screen reader to mouse over this image, then it will voice out email icon to you, so the user will know. We'll give it styles later. Right now we are just building the HTML. Next off, we want to have an element to contain our output. Okay, so when I say output, I mean the output for our form validation. Email output. So in here, when we type, the form validation text is going to be included here automatically by JavaScript. Let's see how it works. So we refresh this page. Right here, this is where the output for our form validation goes. So when I begin to type something, then you see it changes. It changes based on my input. So that's the form validation output right there. And so we are done with the email section. Let's proceed to the password section. Another field set ID. Of course, you can guess. I'll make it the password input type. This type gets tricky. This is where it gets tricky. So here, instead of putting just instead of using just text, remember our password input is supposed to hide your password when you begin to type. Okay, so like I go here now and I want to type my password. Want it to we want to have something like this, then optionally we can click to reveal the password and we can hide it again. So for this we are going to use type password. Password. There are different types. There's text, there's password, and there are different types. But for this tutorial, we are going to use just text and password input. So next off, what we want to give it a maximum length, and we'll say max length 30 and placeholder. Let's call it so the user knows to enter their password. Then, oh no, oh no, oh no, that is a big blunder. Forgive me for that. This is supposed to be an input element. Right. Okay, so we'll wrap it with our field set. I did not see that. Okay, field set, then give for the input. So we cut our input and just insert it there. Right. All right. So just like the previous one, we'll proceed to add another div element that's going to contain our icon and the this one is the password icon. Now for this one, we also have another icon. Unlike the email section, the password section has two icons. So this is the password icon, and this is another icon here to toggle reveal or hide password. So we make provision for that in another div. Call it hide reveal. Hide reveal. So when you click once, it hides the password, and when you click again, it reveals the password. So we'll have two image elements in here. Huh? Hide, hide icon. Just follow me. I'm going to be a bit fast now. Okay. Now, since that is done, next um, we want to have our password input output from validation to this. Okay. There. So the next item on our list right now is the button. Like we know in the example we have here, under the password input is a button that says login, and then text here says don't have an account, a link here to create an account. So these are just demos. This button doesn't do anything. The link also does not do anything. No, thank you. So we want to have that button down here under our field set, but still inside the form. So it's under our field set, but it's still within the form element, and we have our button. So what type of button is it? Buttons are of different types, but we are going to use the submit button type, right? And we say login. That we want for users who don't have an account. You usually see this on login forms. They give you a link to create an account. So we say create account, right? Give it a link there, or tag. Because this link leads nowhere, just say give it a mthref. Yeah. So let's look at our page again. How far have we gone? As you can see, this page is completely unstyled. It's unstyled, and there's nothing beautiful about this. So right now we need to work on our style sheet. We need to import images that we are going to use within our work. So we create a folder here, call it img, short for image, and we are going to import some images into this folder. So just give me a minute, I will get the images we need. 1 second. And boom, these are the images we are going to use. Let's view them in large icons so you can see the images. This is our banner image. This is the email icon. This is the hide password icon. This is the normal password icon. This is our logo, and this is the reveal password icon. So we are going to use this for the background of our page. Let's go back, and this time we are going to be looking at some CSS code. So we are kind of done with the HTML, although we'll still make some little changes as we proceed, but for now that's enough HTML. Let's go into the CSS. Remember, we linked our CSS with the HTML using this link here. So this link links this index.css to our HTML document. So whatever styles we put in here, they are going to reflect on our page. So let's go. For the CSS, I do not want to spend so much time there. I will just copy styles from the original page and I'll tell you what each style I copy does. Okay, our CSS is a bit long, but we have a little time. I'll just so this initial style sets the page up with box sizing, padding, and margin. Next up, we want to style our body element. So the body element is the main major element containing everything we have with visual content on our HTML page or on our web page. So we want it to have 100% of the viewport width, 100% of the viewport height, and we do not want to see any overflow. So in our body element, we have this, and with the styles we have put in, if you can notice the changes, there are no more padding. Everything is now aligned straight and filling the whole screen. So next up, we want to add more styles. We want to style our container element. Remember, we have an element named container in our HTML section, class name container. And so because the class name is container, we can access it by styling it this way. Container, this container here, this is how we style elements with a class name. Okay, so dot before the class name, and then we are giving it 100% of the viewport width, we are giving it 100% height, display flex direction, column. So it's going to stack the elements vertically. It's going to align its elements to the center and justify them to the center. These styles here are for the background. So like you can see, we import our background image from our images folder here, banner.jpg. So we just reference it like this to import that image. And right now, let's look at what we have on our page. So we have successfully imported our background image, and as you can see, the background image has some bluish, very light bluish gradient from down here all the way up, and then it becomes like clear as we go up. So this is because we have a linear gradient in our background image. This is the work of the linear gradient. So if I take off this linear gradient, the image just goes back to its original state. So let's look at it without the linear gradient. So you can see then with our linear gradient back, you can see the difference. So these are styles that are used to create visual effects on the pages that we use, the web pages that we use. This video is already 32 minutes. I'm going to cut it here. In our next video, I'll continue from here, show us the rest of the styling work, and in the final video we are going straight into the JavaScript. So thank you for staying this long. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.